the show, it says.
Woohoo! You are in the show, baby.
You are not in the show.
I'm in the show now.
There you are.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to He Said, She Sang. I am Alex Stein, and I'm going to tell some stories.
And I'm Amy Engelhart, and I'm going to sing some singing things, songs.
Some singing song things. And the theme, the ostensible theme, because, you know, what can you do, is Jailbreak. So tonight there's going to be a jailbreak, as they
I
say
certainly
in the
hope
song.
so.
Shall we get started?
We shall.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Stein!
My favorite thing, well, first of all, thank you to our lovely guests. This is a hybrid show of sorts because we have guests here, and that's very exciting because we have both a live audience and I'm going to say a dead audience online. Wait, that's got to be wrong. I should check my notes. So we're very excited to do this. We are, coming out of the lockdown and the pandemic, and is that right? I don't know. Amy just adjusted something and it threw me off. Oh yes, blame Amy. Blame Amy. So this is a story called One More Border. Amy has told me that I am insufficiently self-promotional, so I do want to mention that this is from Tales from the Trail, short fiction about dogs, mushing, and sled dog races, written by me. And this is called One More Border. Another border crossing. Forms to fill out, agents to chat up, paperwork to show. Sometimes they want to see the dogs, more because they like dogs than because they're doing anything official. But that's okay. I like dogs too. I wouldn't be here if I didn't like dogs. And it's nice, and it's a nice change from being cooped up in the cab. I recognize some of them. Cross over the border enough at the same places and you start seeing the same people. One of them even sponsored one of my dogs last year. Said not to tell his boss, some kind of conflict of interest, I guess. So I didn't say anything when his boss was there, but I let him see his dog whenever we come through. On the road again, 400,000 miles on this engine. I can hear it run ragged some nights, mostly when it's way below freezing and scary to think of it seizing up, like tonight. The dogs are all warm and snug in the back in their dog boxes. The miles stretch out in front of the windshield. Seems like we'll never get there, but we always do. Might just be a lesson in that. Time twists unevenly, broken up by late night stops for coffee and pee breaks and sometimes a little sleep. Powered by Tim Hortons and Booster Juice and Mary Brown's, chicken and taters, y'all. I've had breakdowns and brake failures, dead batteries and dead deer on the highway. I've nearly run out of gas more times than I can count, but only actually ran out of gas twice. I've listened to audiobooks and talk shows and country music in the middle of the night. I've seen fires and lightning and so much snow that was wasted on the roads when the trails had nothing. Friends tell me, if you want to get serious about this, you need to move up to Alaska. And I think about that every time I make this drive. Mostly, I like it. There's great scenery, solid chunk of solitude that provides a buffer between the other parts of life and this part. The drives are like trail markers, setting up the season to come, races and training and kibble, old friends and new friends, salmon chunks, dogs in heat and dogs in harness, enough headaches and muscle pains to remind me that I'm not 26 anymore and never will be again. Broken sleds and broken toes and broken hearts that last time we scratched, even though scratching was the right thing to do, even though scratching was the only thing to do since the dogs weren't happy. Never mind that the dogs forgot the next day and were happy again, and it was just me second guessing myself. They go on. We all go on. It's been a few hours since we've seen another car. How strange to be moving through the night this fast, covering in an hour what would take 5 or 6 on the sled. One dog howls in the back and the others add beautiful harmonies. They are the Crosby, Stills, and Nash of the canine world, and no one gets to hear them but me. Out here in the middle of nowhere as the miles rush by with my best friends singing along. One more border to go. A few thousand miles, divided up into manageable chunks in the truck as it is on the sled. You handle one section at a time and always remember why I'm here, even on the last big drive of the season, the one that brings us home. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have to adjust the height on this. I feel like I'm bending down so that my head is in frame. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Engelhart.
I don't actually have to adjust because I'm bending down to kneel because I'm sitting. However, I do want to. I feel like that's so blindingly. Is that bad? That I can't do anything about it. It's just going to be bright. What?
I guess it's good.
Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to do a bunch of new stuff tonight, since it's super fun, and I hope you enjoy it. It will all be about jailbreaks and the like. I am recording the first of 3 EPs now. Originally, I had said I was going to do a full CD called "Finish What You," and who does full CDs anymore? Old people. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do 3 EPs: "Finish What" and "You." So at the moment, I have about 3 out of, is it 3? Yeah, I have 3 of the 5 for finished done, and that'll come out soon. And if you want to join my mailing list, please do, and I'll let you know when it comes out. Maybe this will be on one of them. This is a world premiere, people. I'm just saying.
Woo!
And so good luck. He didn't find a way. He didn't look. She knew he'd call one day after the book. He didn't fight for her. He didn't try. Accepted things as they were. Went with goodbye. And the last thing he said was nothing. The last thing he did was nothing. And she needed something. Anything at all. The last thing he did was nothing. The last thing he said was nothing. She needed something. She expected more. She wanted time. Some fathers look for doors. It isn't a crime. 30 years down the road, she got a text. She let it go, went to the next. You reap what you sow. Anything at all. The last thing he said was nothing. The Father's Day? How's the sound out there? All good?
I'm gonna say yes.
Fantastic.
In the living room, it's great.
Thank you. Someone named Isadora said, "Oh my God, Amy, that's an arrow to the heart." Ah. I'm so sorry. Speaking of relatives, and that's terrible. Okay. This. I just realized this next tune is also in C, so that would be your palate cleanser, so that you're not thinking that you're in the same key. Because they say when you can, it laughs from the peanut gallery. When you construct a set, you actually shouldn't put a bunch of stuff in the same kind of tonality together, because people think it's like sounds the same. All right, am I giving away trade secrets? Am I showing you how the sausage is made? All right. I think that any of you who are my age, oh wait, I can't say that and then claim to be
You mean
35.
26?
All right, I'll see you on the other side. This is also, I don't think this is a world premiere, but this is also new. Nice. March of 1970, the moment was at hand. Uncle Vinko had to win today. Fellow Yugoslavians were cheering in the stands, and me, I was watching from the USA. He crouched and coiled and waited, but he got his signals crossed. He tumbled madly down the slope, and suddenly everything was lost. You don't suck, even though the world saw you defeated. No, you don't suck. In my eyes, you'll never be the clown. It's just bad luck. Hey, look at the bright side. You competed. You don't suck. And there's lighters on cell phones in the living room. An avalanche of spastic skis and poles and spinning limbs. There even was a gasp from the Russians. Medics ran to help, and though the evidence was grim, Vinko only had a slight concussion. But the world just saw disaster, and that footage brought him fame on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Though nobody knew his name, I told him you don't suck, even though the world saw you defeated. No, you don't suck. In my eyes, you'll never be the clown. It's just bad luck. Hey, look at the bright side. You competed, 'cause you don't suck. Vinko never skied again. No victory, no gold. He drove a forklift in a factory and ached 'cause he got old. Me, I try to be a writer, but I just get puzzled looks. And so I think of Uncle Vinko when nobody buys my books. You don't suck, even though the world saw you defeated. Everybody, you don't suck. Yay! In my eyes, you'll never Alrighty.
Amy Engelhardt, everybody. Hey, you know what my favorite thing about this setup is?
What?
You still have the reverb on, so when you're talking and not singing, it sounds, a little bit voice of God-y.
Is that a problem? Or no, you like it?
I like it. I like it. Also, Hecla, I don't know if you saw, but Hecla was staring very intently at you during the song, and then to celebrate the final part of the song, she went in the litter box.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that happens because we didn't move the litter box out. I'm now remembering that usually we do when we have people here. We didn't move the litter box out of the living room.
But I did scoop all the poop out, so that's something, I guess.
Well, one time when we were doing this early in the pandemic, I was where Alex is, which is directly across the room in the living room, and I'm in the dining room. And as I was singing the tail end of a song, which I'll probably do tonight, Deep Blue Sea, I'm going, "You're beautiful." There's like scratching and pooping happening.
They are beautiful.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Stein!
Woo! Hey, it's me again. And look, my head is in frame. It's very exciting. This is a new version of an old story, a story that happened a long time ago. It's called Purple Drizzle, Purple Drizzle. It's about rock and roll because, it was almost 3 a.m. and I was stopped at a red light in Hollywood. Stopped so long, I wondered if the light was out of order. But I was in my 20s and I believed I had all the time in the world. This was the night I'd found out about a free concert the rock band Squeeze was playing at a medium-sized club in Hollywood, which was notable because at the time, Squeeze was filling venues 10 times as large. This was in that brief window after the band got back together following their first breakup, long before the endless string of dour albums filled with mid-tempo ballads that precipitated their commercial decline, which led to the fights and the second, much longer breakup, and decades before their subsequent reunion, 4 triumphant world tours, an album that sold 80 million copies, and their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with a speech by Sir Paul McCartney, although some of the things in this sentence happened only in my mind. I went to the concert and discovered that at age 25, I was older than 99% of the people in the audience. For some reason, Squeeze was then being marketed as a teeny bopper band. These were sad days for rock and roll. And then I ran into a friend of a friend who had backstage passes, but said that the club owner had gotten a call for her, that her apartment was on fire, and he came to find her because this was back in the pre-cell phone era, so she gave the passes to me. And that's how I wound up at an after party at a trendy nightclub where I knew no one, and the band put in a 10-minute appearance before leaving to catch a plane to Saskatoon, where presumably thousands of Canadian teeny boppers were waiting to see them. The entire after party devolved into this weird networking event for assistants in the music industry, each trying to impress each other with the tricks that they used to get their dubious expenses covered by record companies. And it soon became clear to me that none of these people actually liked music. They just loved access. And then the friend of mine whose apartment had been on fire showed up because Los Angeles apparently has a very efficient fire department. And she added, while doing a line of coke on the bar, that there were lady firefighters, so they had saved all of her shoes. And this was not the type of conversation I was used to having before I moved to LA. So it seemed that that was actually a good time for me to leave, which is how I came to find myself stopped at the red light at nearly 3 a.m. with my left elbow propped up against the open window. A sleek, gorgeous, purple convertible pulled up in the lane next to me, driven by a woman wearing fishnet stockings on her arms, which is generally not a good look, but it worked for her. And I caught her eye and she smiled. And I said, "It's not every day you see a purple convertible," because I am charming and skilled in stating the obvious. And she turned off her stereo, which was blasting Prince, and said, "It's not purple, it's lavender." So I said, "It's not every day you see a lavender convertible." And she laughed and said, "What time is it?" And I looked at my watch and I saw it was exactly 2:56 a.m. But 2:56 a.m., seemed like the wrong time because it was too late for the night, but too early for the morning. In fact, research has shown that 2:56 a.m. is the one single time most likely to repel women driving convertibles, according to a study published in the Journal of Stuff I Just Made Up a second ago. So instead, I told her it was a little after 2, which was technically true. And the woman in the convertible said, "Perfect. That's secret time." And I said, "Secret time?" And she said, "You're not a cop, are you? Because you'd have to tell me if you're a cop." And I said, "No, I'm not a cop," because I wasn't and still am not. But I didn't tell her that it's not true that cops have to tell you if they're cops, because I thought that just knowing that fact would make me seem really like I was a cop. And she said, "A little after 2 is secret time. You are required by law to tell me a secret you've never told anyone." And I believed her, not just because she was hot, but because I have a deep-seated belief that human beings are good and honest, and also she was hot. And I said, "I'm worried that I will never be as well liked as my friends in college, that I moved here unequipped for what Los Angeles would throw at me, that I'll die at age 27 without ever experiencing true love or finding the right artistic outlet or kissing a woman wearing fishnet stockings on her arm in a convertible, and Squeeze will never get the recognition they so richly deserve, if only for their works in the late 70s and early 80s, and the right wing will become so skilled at fanning the flames of ignorance and prejudice that the country I love will devolve into a feudal society where people vote against their own best interests to enrich those who pay for the most effective propaganda, and my prescient and early investments in the pitchfork and torch sector of the economy will never provide the income I need to retire at a reasonable age." And she stared at me for an uncomfortably long period of time. Perhaps because she was unused to people telling her the truth instead of flirting with her. So trying to salvage the situation, I said, "Your turn. Secret time. Tell me something you've never told anyone." And she said, "I'm not wearing shoes. I never wear shoes when I drive." And then she stretched out one of her legs to expose her bare foot, and I could see that she was telling the truth, and also that she had exceptionally good legs, or at least one exceptionally good leg. I assumed the other one was comparable. And we sat there until I finally said, "So," because my ability to talk to beautiful women has never progressed beyond what it was in 7th grade. And she held up her hand with one finger raised in the universal gesture of, "Hang on a second, you're just not that important." And she turned Prince back on, and she looked both ways, and she ran the light. I watched her car disappear down the long, empty boulevard, unsure if I was supposed to follow, while Prince, still funky but growing quieter, faded into the night air. It started to drizzle, and the beautiful women in the lavender, but arguably actually purple convertibles were gone from the street. Just then, a homeless guy pushed a shopping cart up to the light. He stopped, waiting to cross in the same direction that I was headed. He looked at me, he pushed the walk button, and he nodded. "Secret time," he said. "Between 2 and 4 in the morning, these lights don't change unless someone presses the button, because there's almost no traffic and 99% of it is going the other way." And I asked him why he didn't just cross without the light. And he said, "That's against the law. It's jaywalking. They ticket here for that." And he added, "Besides, I've been watching you. I'm not sure how long you would have waited there. I know you're not very bright because you let the girl in the purple convertible get away." And the light changed, but before I hit the gas, I said, "Lavender, lavender convertible." And he yelled after me, "It doesn't matter what color it is when it's gone." And then he started to sing, and his voice was pure and mournful and filled with soul. And I wanted to go back to that after party and get one of the assistants to help get him a record deal, or at least keep him off the streets. And then I remembered that they really didn't like music at all, so I kept driving. and the sound faded after a couple blocks. Secret time. Every time since then, when I'm in Hollywood, I look for that guy and I listen. And every time it drizzles, I think of him. But I never saw him again. And like he might have said, don't matter how good he sang when he's gone. We're going to get back to Amy Engelhart in a minute. I'm just going to pop you up on screen just for a second. But I want to say one thing, which is that this show is totally free, and we do it because that's what we do, and we love to do that. However, if you in the audience would, not you in the audience, but them in the audience, would like to put some money in the virtual tip jar, we have that right here. And I know it's been a long pandemic. I know a lot of people are having troubles. If that's you, no problem. Just enjoy this. But if you might have gone out to dinner tonight and you want to put, you know, what you might have spent on a sandwich in the tip jar, that's great. If you might have gone to a bar and spent, you know, $5 or $10 on a drink and you want to put that in the virtual tip jar, that is great too. It's not required, but if you want to, it is right there.
Yeah,
there?
no, yeah.
There. I'm not
Wait.
used to
I'm not
putting my
even.
hands there.
We can both do this, and it'll be like follow the bouncing ball. Remember that?
There you go. And now, without further ado,
It do. God bless
Amy
you.
Engelhart.
Thank you. Okay. I don't know if the balance is still right because I turned everything down because I was doing something before. That sounds still okay balance-wise?
It does make you sound very reverby.
It's like I'm in a studio in the 1980s, which I kind of am. That minor third, most hopeful sound she ever heard. Mosquito bites, Jersey burbs around midnight. July's gone, another train she isn't on. Oh, 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 listen to it go. To places she wants to know so bad. Wait for it. She's got to wait. The whistle blows past bedroom towns and TV shows. Every day she makes a plan for the getaway. Claim what's mine at the end of a Trenton line. Oh, 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 listen to it go. To places she wants to know so bad. Wait for it, she's got to wait. Take me somewhere better than me. Lead me out of this life. Make me since I know there are singers in the room, what? And since, this is a topic of conversation and this is about a jailbreak, I'm going to hope that maybe when I get to the sing-along part of this, they will join me. So we've all been indoors a lot of the time, and we've all been kind of frustrated, right? And we've all been eating. And I know I have my COVID baby right here. And it's been gestating for a long time, so it's not like a real baby. Just in case you were wondering. So just like when the year turns and it's January and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to totally do something now that it's a new year. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop doing this. After these holiday parties, that's it. Well, let's make a vow. You, me, Alex, everybody in this room. And even if you don't need to do this, you need to do it to support your partner, okay? Because let's make a vow tonight. It stops here now because there's going to be all sorts of violations later this evening. But
So it stops after this evening?
yeah, because that's what the occasion of the song is. You know what I'm talking about. So it'll become apparent what I'm doing. And I ask you to sing along when you know what it is. It was so great when we did the You Don't Suck. Num 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 crisp apple strudels. Num 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 schnitzel with noodles. I love you, but I'm letting you go. Don't tempt me. You know I can't say no. You are at your best. I am at my worst. So I must insist that we end this sick tryst. But there's one thing I've got to do first. My last carb hurrah. My last carb hurrah. One last roll, then I quit. No, this is it. That I'm joining a gym with the spa. It's my last carb hurrah. Pala and pizza and warm snickerdoodles. I gave up pants. They're much too tight. You go straight to my head like the wrong verse that I'm saying tonight. There will be tears, there will be beers, and I'll most likely unhook my bra. It's the last carb hurrah. It's my last carb hurrah. My last carb hurrah. There'll be tears, there will be beers, and once again I'll unhook my bra. It's my last carb hurrah. No, I'm not a springy young chicken. I need to exercise more at all. The older you get, it gets harder to eat like you did for decades before. I'm a liberal, good-hearted person. I have great legs and fabulous hair. Yada yada, I'm beautiful inside and out, but I'm too fucking hungry to care. Everybody, it's my last carb hurrah. My last carb hurrah. cheesecake linguine. Gotcha.
Woo!
You know, my favorite thing, but also the most dangerous thing about having real musicians watching this here with us is that they don't just sing along, they do like these harmonies and stuff.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it?
We're fired. We're
Yeah.
so fired.
It's hideous.
You know, I'm sorry for the screw up in there, but I got so excited thinking about all the pasta.
Or cheese pasta.
You know, at the beginning of this pandemic, I made the statement that pandemic bread does not have any carbs. Turns out that's not strictly true.
The pan and pandemic.
Sorry.
Later that same evening, Alex Stein.
This is a brand new piece called The Castle. And by the way, before I get into that, I wanted to just briefly thank Vicky and Martha and Eben and Isadora, who are hanging out with us on the
Who are
commenting and hanging out on the YouTube stream, I guess.
I guess.
Is that like the YouTube waterfall?
Sure. Only more reliable.
You know,
Can't slip on the rocks.
it occurred to me that your mic isn't actually on unless I put you up on screen.
Even though, well, because you're looking at me, so, you know, that's deceptive because you can see me and it's okay if nobody can. It's all right, really.
Oh,
We want to
okay.
hear you.
Oh, and also I want to say that maybe we'll return to a fully live show. Maybe this will be our last YouTube hurrah.
Our last card.
It's the last.
Well, it won't be the last card hurrah. I was acting. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But but I think this might be.
What?
Who knows? It could, I am so excited that it could be our last YouTube hurrah.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've enjoyed like doing the online things, but yeah, we like live people. It occurred to me when I was reading that last piece that, oh yeah, people sometimes laugh, and then I'm not used to that. I'm used to just like barreling through.
Well, didn't we have, like, the first couple times we did this, didn't we have an applause MP3 that we would play? I know I used to set up my Fisher-Price Little People as like a gallery
Yeah.
of...
Yeah, we had to stop that.
Because it was lame.
Yeah, that's
All right.
why.
Alex!
So this is called The Castle. There was a time long ago when the open road called to me. Tires on asphalt, rhythmic thumping, radio stations fading in and others fading out. My solace was the road ahead. My goal, the destination, my heartfelt desire was to transform the starting point into a footnote, something easily forgotten. We were young, penitent adventurers, uncertain of our exact sins, but confident that healing awaited us at the road's end, even if that required driving 17 hours. Why do you want to drive at night? She asked me. The scenery is beautiful. Don't you want to see it? And I said, yeah, I do, but sometimes we need to put the miles behind us. For years, I loved driving in the dark. Late at night, it seems that portals to other worlds open up as notions of time and space get squeezed. And if you listen carefully, you can literally hear the distinct sounds of individual molecules. My girlfriend and I had just moved to Los Angeles, and we drove to Colorado Springs 3 years in a row to spend Thanksgiving with friends. 1,100 miles, 17 hours, 18 if you stop once or twice. 3 years in a row, we left LA Wednesday afternoon, got to Arizona, New Mexico after sunset, drove through the night, arrived Thanksgiving early morning or early afternoon. We'd stay a few days, eat a lot, turn around, and drive back. On the way, the desert reflected the romance of the open road. Fast food signs, long-haul truckers, and the lights of an occasional city. Just before New Mexico, we'd pass something magical right off the highway with nothing for hundreds of miles on either side, lit up like a castle in the middle of the desert, turrets stretching up to meet the sky. Someday, I thought, someday I will stop. Someday I'm going to visit this castle and meet the king and queen. We were broke, but we were happy. And our Colorado friends were slightly less broke and maybe a bit happier. They had a kid after our third Colorado Thanksgiving. We left early that year, partly because we had to get back to work and partly because our friends were tired, but mostly because they didn't have the heart to tell us not to come and we didn't have the brains to figure it out ourselves. We realized that maybe we enjoyed our November ritual more than they did. We were still welcome, but perhaps not at Thanksgiving, and definitely not every year. So off we go, down I-25, mountains turn to plateaus and plains, past Santa Fe and Albuquerque, merging onto I-40 through Navajo and Apache lands, nations within nations, passing by and passing through in a crappy French car built in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which I didn't know it then, but it was going to die a couple months later. We fortify ourselves with truck stop pretzels and sodas, speed through the desert wearing t-shirts and shorts, sweating inside a black car with no air conditioning. Skin sticks to the back of the vinyl seats, reminding me that it should not be this warm in November. We keep the windows open and we have the talking heads blasting from a slightly warped cassette that had lived in the glove compartment for 4 years until it warbled from the heat, which oddly enough enhanced David Byrne's vocals. We're going to pass the castle, I announce, in the daylight. We don't have time to stop, she says dismissively. And I literally cannot understand why she's not excited. We don't have to stop, I told her, but let's at least wave to the king and queen. She rolls her eyes in a way that indicates that it is too hot for my nonsense. Tires thump over seams in asphalt. Chris Franz and Tina Weymouth hold down the bottom, making the Boston acoustic speakers jump in the doors. Colorado seems like a hazy dream as we slide into Arizona, the musky smell of cottonwoods giving way to red clay and creosote. Not far, not long now, repeating rhythms of the open road, so very, very, very glamorous. Except magic is harder to spot in the light of day. There's no darkness to hide the litter at the side of the road. We see the castle approaching just off the highway a mile or two away, but there's no beauty, no enchantment, no waiting royals. I turn and stare as we pass, sunlight revealing what the nights kept hidden. My mythic, magic, majestic structure so filled with promise and possibility is a power plant. The turrets are smokestacks spitting dark pollution 24/7. It's invisible against the night sky, but impossible to miss in daylight. 605 megawatts from 3 gas and coal turbines churn out enough kilowatt hours to power 420,000 business and residential customers in Arizona, California, and New Mexico. Huh. 8 more hours and we're home, back to the mundane place we started, so dull compared to the endless excitement of the stretch of open road that was in front of us. We never make that drive again. The girlfriend and I split up 6 months later. Distance separates us from our friends in Colorado, who go on to have kids and eventually grandkids, chasing hopes and dreams that somehow don't involve me at all. We're still bonded by a friendship forged in our tumultuous 20s, but unsure what it's morphed into in the decades since. Still, every time I'm on a highway at night, I think about those shimmering lights and my imagined castle in the desert, where you can safely ignore what you don't yet know and celebrate the things that you can only imagine. It's a place without disappointments, where everything's possible and you are always welcomed by a king and queen who only come out at night to nurture your deepest dreams as you drive past in the dark. It occurs to me that the last two stories that I read both had a final paragraph that started with "still," which is how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Engelhart.
Thank you. It just shows that you've mastered the form. That's what that shows.
I've mastered something.
So I see that there are people that I don't believe I know, at least in the chat, and I wanted to mention that if you sign up for my mailing list, I will send you a free MP3. It's true. And it'll be of me. The MP3. It won't be like some random MP3 that, I like or don't like. Oh. It's here. Yes, you can sign up at the front of my webpage, and I have a lot of cool news coming up. I'm doing a full set at a convention that's called the Confluence. It's like they call it not a science fiction thing, but they called it like an interactive imagination or something like that conference.
So it's at the confluence of the confluence?
Yes, that's why they call it that. Hello, Pittsburgh, Three Rivers. Yes.
What's the area code in Pittsburgh?
715.
Okay.
No, 215 is Philadelphia. Pittsburgh would be 717, I think. Isn't that scary that I know that?
Yes.
I don't know about those weird, messed up area codes.
I still don't entirely accept the fact that there are numbers other than 1 or 0 in the middle of area codes.
Exactly.
I mean, what is that?
And when I was a slob working in the radio industry many years ago in Los Angeles, that's how I got to know all of the then area codes, because I had to fax all of these radio stations.
Fax machine.
I know! Just the fax man. It was, and I didn't have to hand fax them at least. There was a program on my Mac that would do it, and it would, overnight I'd say, Duran Duran's new single is, awesome. I got paid to say that. It's true. And did they listen to me? Of course they did. Why do you think Duran Duran is such a success? Because I sent those faxes. Thank you. That was the wedding album for those of you keeping score at home. All right, I know that there are...
You can't say Coop without Warren Cucurullo.
That is true. That is true. I bow to your greater knowledge of phonics. Okay, I know that there are people here who lived in Chicago. Mm-hmm. People in the room who have lived in Chicago. So that's the only reason I'm going to do this. So this one tune. Because I'm going to do 2 more tunes, and then Alex and I will say ridiculous things, and then we'll be done. We're going to go eat pasta. So so this is for those of you who have lived in Chicago. What are you doing? What, Charles?
I've never lived in Chicago.
Then this isn't for you. You totally walked into that. Thank you. He wakes up with Iago, July in Chicago. Iago is purring and purring. Boxes cover the table. As soon as he's able, he will unpack her. Later, cruising down Halsted, just like they all said, he's on the wall of that building. It's larger than life, so many stories. Larger than life, bigger than more, she's larger than life. He wakes up with a headache. God, the whole bed aches, but he is 2,000 miles better. Just not super terrific. She's still Pacific, just where he left her. And at the Lakeshore Drive intersection, he's lost in reflection. She's on the wall of that building. Larger than life, so many stories.
gonna sing tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I have a gig tomorrow.
The song tomorrow?
Oh, the song tomorrow. I wasn't planning on it. I could. You mean to close with?
No, I think you should still close with your closer, but I think you should also sing tomorrow. If you want.
I can. Maybe. What do you think? Really seriously, you think I should sing? Okay, I haven't planned to do this one, but okay. This song was just actually accepted, honored with a spot in the Women's Coalition of Arts and Media broadcast that's going to happen this fall, and they submitted a request for submissions on the theme of 2020, just whatever hit you about 2020. And I sent this in, and I sent in a demo. It actually is recorded, and I'm mixing it next week. Cello, rhythm section, the whole deal. But I was a little surprised. I mean, you throw a lot of stuff against the wall and you see what sticks. I said I wouldn't write about last year, but I kind of did. And if you feel so inclined, when the refrain happens, do something. I will be different. You will be different. This will be different tomorrow. little ditty that it's very Amy Mann. You know, it's all of you fucks can go fuck the fuck off.
Amy Mann wishes she wrote that fucking song.
And actually, the person who runs this thing wrote to me to say that the song got in, and it'll be done in the fall. I don't know if I'll be doing it yet, but she said, I have to tell you, I cracked up when I heard all of you fucks can go fuck the fuck off. I'm like, you are my tribe. And it's interesting because a lot of people think that's about many different things, and I think it can be actually. I think it certainly applies past the pandemic, and definitely applies to politics. Hey, Alex, do you want to close? Do you want to close the show instead of me? No? All right.
Yes, and.
Okay.
I mean, I could, but who wants to hear more things about death?
This is supposed to be about jailbreak. Well, jailbreak, I guess, actually. Okay, well, I was going to do Deep Blue Sea as my closer, but you know that's also in 6/8. Is everybody already waltzing or lullabying? All right. Okay, I'll do Deep Blue Sea. And actually, maybe this is the MP3 that I'll send you, the studio recording of this, which is also available on Bandcamp, I might add. And if you buy it on Bandcamp, I will send you the instrumental version as well, which is super cool. All right, so this is going to be the last song. Should we say our thanks to everyone, to the studio audience? Yay! We're so excited that life is happening again. Or as they say in Jurassic Park, life will find a way. Maybe that's not the best analogy. You know, like monsters taking over the...
Yeah, no.
Well, we do have a velociraptor as one of our cats.
That's true, we do. Hecla is a velociraptor. But we look forward to having you either here in person or somewhere at an LA venue in person or something like that. Vicky Judith said, I am singing the chorus, which I guess would be all of you fucks can go fuck the fuck off. I love that. Before the pandemic, we actually had people here. We had a giant event house party here, and we did, he said, she sang, and it was super fun.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do that again.
We'll do something. We'll figure something out. We are so thankful that everyone tuned in. We're thankful for you guys for coming out and laughing and singing along, and it's just super fun.
And we're so happy to see you people in our living room.
First live performance.
Alrighty. Okay, I'll do the last thing then. This is a true story that I heard on NPR. It was one of those driveway moments where you literally are glued to your seat and you can't get up. The interview was so amazing that the person who was telling the story, who was Paul Nicklin, who is a marine photographer in Vancouver, he was crying. He had to stop because he was crying, and the host was crying, and it was just one of those moments that takes your breath away. And I came inside, and this wrote itself, and I use it to close at all the concerts that I do because it says what I want to say, which is that we're all connected, and now we're connected to you, and we're going to be connected even more over the next few months. That's the thing that I think we've all missed the most, was communication and collaboration and connection. And to me, collaboration also means with an audience. So that I've truly missed. So thank you. And Alex, thanks you. Tales from the Trail is available on Amazon.com. Sign up for my mailing list, and I'll send you an MP3 of this. Hundreds of miles from landfall, in the cold, wet, infinite blue, my job is to photograph wildlife, and I am here studying you. You are a large wild predator, I'm your small possible meal. Though I have watched you for hours upon hours,
what you feel. Because you're you, I'm me. You're beautiful. I'm beautiful, sure. But you need dinner and I need a photograph. You're you, I'm me. Here on the deep blue sea. Here on the deep blue, dangerous sea. Yesterday you caught a penguin with your giant, incredible teeth. You gave it to me, but it got away 'cause I'm slow and it's not what I eat. You did this 4 times with a live one, then you offered me one that was dead. I suddenly knew you thought I couldn't feed myself, so you provided me my daily bread. Because you're you, I'm me. You're beautiful. I'm beautiful, sure. But you need dinner and I need a photograph. You're you, I'm me. Here on the deep blue sea. Locked eyes and I knew in an instant, as clear as the sky could be, I was there to get people to care, and yet you took care of me. You took care of me. I live in a box in Manhattan. I'm forced to connect every day, interact with the rush and the madness in a very unmeaningful way. And your picture hangs in my kitchen to remind me life is real, and it fills me with infinite gratitude for the faraway, wild, indescribable blue, for the gesture of kindness, simple and true, for the gift of a meal, for the heart inside you. You're beautiful. I'm beautiful, sure. We both got dinner and I got my photograph. You're you, I'm me. Here on the deep blue sea. Here on the deep blue, dangerous sea. You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Woo!
Thank you all. We will see you live and in person. This has been He Said, She Sang. I'm Amy Engelhart.
I'm Alex Stein, and just before we go, I want to thank you all again. And if you have taken nothing out of the last 18 months, please take out of it that no matter what's going on, no matter how bad things get, you can build on them, you can make them better. Just keep going and know that we are on your side. We are all here together. And I feel like I should say something that's actually profound and not that I want someone to make a supercut of people trying to end live online broadcasts, because it always seems like everyone's like, where's the button? Where's the button? But anyway, thank you guys so much. And we will see you very, very soon, hopefully in person.
Yeah.
Home stretch! Home stretch!
I'm ending the broadcast right now,
God damn it!
or soon.